Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Kyle here with Family Firearm Reviews. Today we're going to check out the Beretta APX. Now this is kind of their Gen 1 version, but what drew me to this was the slide. It has a very different slide, a very different look, and it's done for a very tactical reason, I believe. This was Beretta's entry for the military contract to replace their Berettas that they had in service. It does have one thing that's kind of reminiscent of the 92, so let's get into the numbers. With the Beretta APX, we have a barrel length of 4.1 inches. We have an overall length of 7.5 inches. We have an overall height of 5.5 inches, and we have a width of 1.3 inches. It has a trigger pull around 5.5 pounds on this firearm, and we do have a weight of 1 pound, 11.8 ounces. It does come with two 17 plus 1 round mags, so you get 18 round mags in this firearm. Or 18 rounds in this firearm, not 18 round mags. I'm sure they make 18 round mags, but 18 rounds, so 17 plus 1, and they are metal magazine. The one thing I do see as an issue is they come with black followers from the factory. I'm a fan of something brighter, white, gray, orange, yellow, anything like that to really show you that the firearm is empty. So with that, let's get right into the features. Now, with the features on our Beretta APX is this slide. I really like the slide design. I really thought it was something different. And what it is, it's really user-friendly. You can literally grip this anywhere along the slide and rack it, which is why they designed it that way. So in a stressful situation, or if you're just trying to grab somewhere, doing press checks, or trying to rack the firearm, it's very easy, very grippable in all these different regions. It's not just, you know, a little bit at the front or a little bit at the rear. It's all the way down that slide. The only smooth spot is right here. Where they kind of have their name and where we have our extraction port or our ejector, right? Where we're going to be launching rounds out. We don't want to be grabbing there anyway where our barrel's sitting. It does have a set of 3-dot white sights, which are nice. We do have that cocking shelf in the rear. So again, in a combat situation, we're able to rack them on a table, or, you know, if we go down to be one-handed, that's going to be a nice feature for the firearm. Now, this is kind of reminiscent of our old Glocks. We do have the finger grooves here, and you can get lowers and swap them out for ones that don't have finger grooves. They do have interchangeable back straps that you can get on here. There is a small one that goes here, and then we have the medium is on there right now, and then a large is actually going to increase your beaver tail grip right there. So if you have different size hands, this is definitely adjustable for you or whoever's shooting. It does have a nice undercut here, as you can see. You can really, again, high grip, nice purchase on the firearm, very comfortable. I really liked how this felt. These finger grips aren't too bad, but there is stippling in there. So it does give you a nice spot to lay your fingers in that firearm. It is a fully ambi gun, right? So we have our slide stop, slide release here. It is mirrored on the other side. We have our mag release here, and it is, again, swappable, mirrored right on the other side. So this is going to be a right or left-handed shooter. And again, these are running like $350, $400 for this package, and I think you get a lot of bang for that buck. It is kind of cut at the front to try to give you a little bit easier holster insertion, but not a ton of kind of tapering on the front end of the firearm. It has a little bit of a strange takedown, which we definitely checked out in our table talk, so go ahead and check that video out too. And another thing I want to show you is the trigger. So the trigger is very nice, and you can see it's a very wide trigger. This doesn't have an external safety. It's a really wide trigger inside of there. We'll try to get you some close-up pictures, but it really takes up almost that full trigger guard inside of there. When you pull the trigger, you're going to see right here that this pops up. Now, this is your firing pin blocker. What this does is if there is the blade safety in the center is not depressed, it's not going to allow you to accidentally fire the firearm, drop safe issues, things of that nature. And that's kind of reminiscent of our Beretta 92s, right? So as we go here, I'll show you the reset. So you have a nice hard wall. There's really no take up at all. We do our reset, creep out just a little bit there. You can see right there, no take up. Literally, you're right back on the trigger if you hear that click, and you're right back on the firearm again. I think this is going to be a really crisp trigger. It does have a little bit of creep out to reset it, a little bit more than I would really think it would have or really like, but getting right back on it, there's no mush or wall like we usually, or no mush, no take up, you're right on that wall. Sorry for that. Again, you do have some spots here. If you look right here, you could kind of index your finger here. There's just a little bit of stippling here, a little bit of stippling here, but nothing major, just some stripes. You do have a nice 3-slot 1913 pick rail on here, so you could run lights or lasers or things like that. This one is not optics cut. They do make the Beretta APX A1. It is optics cut. It has a slightly different slide too, and it also doesn't come with these finger grooves on the lower. So again, I think this is their Gen 1. This is the one they kind of entered for the military contract. This one also does not have a chamber indicator. I did see in the manual there's a version that has a chamber indicator that pops up. Again, no external safety, so I'm thinking that might have been a drawback because I know they wanted an external safety for the military. Again, generous trigger guard, as you can see here. You can really get your finger in there, gloves, mitts, whatever you got, big hands, you're going to be able to get into that trigger guard, and it's a nice high undercut. Not like some of the other ones. You can really choke up high, get yourself a nice grasp on here. Again, and then no stippling on the front of the trigger guard. There's a little bevel there where you can kind of feel and put your finger. Again, with a lot of the modularity firearms, the serialized part is, again, the trigger grouping. So if you wanted to get different lowers, or you were in a state where it's hard to get firearms, you wanted to run this trigger grouping on a few different slides or a few different setups, you can. The modularity is there, and that's kind of the way the firearms are going. I know Beretta's kind of late to the game with that, but I think this is really going to be an awesome firearm. It does feel really comfortable in your hand. If you get a chance, I had a lot of viewers out there tell me to check this out, kind of see how it feels. I agree. It feels very comfortable in the hand. We'll just have to see how it does on the range. Now with the mags, it does have kind of a different locking system, as you can see here. It's got a little V-notch, so you put that in there, but the mags come out very easily. There's no issue. There are stripping cuts here on the grip, and then the mags are flared at the bottom like a lot of them out there, so if you do need to strip a magazine, you can do that. Again, takedown's a little strange, a little different compared to some of the other firearms, but if you check out our unboxing video, you can definitely see that. Now it does come with a little mag loader, which is nice that they included that. It's got a lot of texture. You can just push them down. It fits perfectly over those mags. So that's a nice feature, especially if you have grip strength issues. Again, Lauren has grip strength issues, so we're going to see if she can rack it, and we'll be able to double check that out for you guys. Now, before we get into the ammo, would you guys check out some of the links down below? We do have a Patreon. We do have kind of a merch shop that has some cool designs that Lauren's been working on. All new designs. There's the tried and true ones, but there are new ones coming out. We do have an Instagram. We do have a Reddit page we'd like you guys to check out and leave some comments. Also, like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate the support from everybody. This is a lot of fun for us, and I hope you like the videos. With that, we're going to jump into the ammo. So I do have some Fiocchi 124 grain we're going to run today. I do have some Magtech 124, and then I do have some aluminum 115 grain ammo that we're going to run through here from Blazer. We're going to see how that all runs through the firearm, if it has any issues, or it can eat whatever we throw at it. So let's get to the important stuff and get out to the range. So we're out here with the Beretta APX. We're going to do our 3-shot accuracy test with this little guy, see how it feels. Two to the left, one dead center, so I brought my shots right in. That trigger is really wide. It's very, very comfortable. And man, there's almost no felt recoil in this firearm. Now, I did just come from shooting a concealed carry, but still, this feels really comfortable right off the rip. Let's get a look at that target.
Hey guys, it's Lauren with Family Firearms, and I'm going to do an accuracy test with the Beretta. Kyle just called it a little guy, but it doesn't feel super little to me. Let's see. A little bit all over the place, but honestly, for something this size, not too bad for me.
Man, that is a really comfortable shooting gun. And one thing I did notice is when I put that mag in fully loaded, I didn't really have to smack it. It literally went in nice and easy. Sometimes when you have those mags fully loaded, you got to hit it real hard on the bottom just to get it to go in. Man, that was a great spread there. Whew. Uh-oh, something happened. She locked up. That's not good. Well, we had kind of a malfunction. Looks like she got a little jammed up. So we're going to have to get to the table and see what we can do with that. So we just cleared our malfunction. We did get a kind of the brass casing. Looks like it's split, kind of a little crack, a little shoulder here. You can see where it's a little rough. It looked like it kind of just jammed the bullet down going up that feed ramp. I just had to pull back really, really hard. It shot right out. It didn't go off. It didn't give a primer strike or anything. So now that we got that out, let's keep going. Now that we have our first 150 rounds to the firearm, let's get our final thoughts on these first shots. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel. We're here to do our final thoughts on our first shots with the Beretta APX. Now, what really drew me to this was the way it felt in my hand, number one, and number two was this interesting slide design. And I really like that user-friendly design. You could really grip and rack it from different places. I tried that out today. It was very easy to go through and really get a good grip, get a good sight picture with this firearm. Now, it does have that nice dovetailed set of sights, so you can swap the sights out if you aren't a big fan of the 3 white dots, which I'm okay with, but not a huge fan, right? I did like it. I was fairly accurate with it. It does have a really wide trigger, a big trigger opening here. It was easy to manipulate, easy to transition. I mean, it felt like a much bigger firearm, believe it or not. The recoil felt very dampened with this, and it does have that kind of crazy looking recoil spring. So if you check out the Table Talk, you'll see what I'm talking about inside of there. It does have a bit of a weird disassembly, and it does have some of those 92 reminiscent features like this piece right there, which is our striker blocker or a firing pin blocker on the firearm. I did like the texture and the grip. You know, the medium grip fits my hand very well. The large grip, if you do have bigger mitts, even with that big trigger guard, I think it's going to be good for you. I did throw a set of gloves on. We were running this through some drills to see what it would feel like in stressful situations, and it ran great. I really enjoyed the accuracy and how it felt out on the range today. What were your thoughts?
So I actually thought that I was going to enjoy that wider trigger. I always push with too much of the pad of my finger, so I thought there'd be more space there for me. That wasn't the case, and I actually ended up shooting pretty poorly with this. There's not anything that's technically bad about it from my point of view, just not the gun for me. It doesn't sit in my hand the way I want it to, and I didn't have the accuracy that I wanted, but the recoil really isn't that bad. Everything's really well made. I like the textures on it. Even with these sort of nice serrations all the way down, I was able to rack this without any problems. It was a little bit tough, but not an issue. So I could definitely shoot it, just I didn't do as well as I'd want to.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you transition from firearm to firearm, you really got to practice with the one that you're going to use. We shoot a lot of different ones, a lot of different sight pictures. Sometimes the sights don't always cooperate with our eyes. I have astigmatism, so sometimes when we get certain color sights or red dots, they blur a little bit for me. It's not always great, but I shot this well. It's another one that we're going to chalk up in the category that it's really hand placement. That wide trigger does help me because I do on slimmer guns actually put my finger a little too far. I push them to the left. And then as soon as I adjust my finger, I can really shoot well. On this one, it was really intuitive for me to get in there, get on that nice trigger, and the trigger was great. I mean, that reset is super short. It's very tactile. You can hear it even with my hearing protection on, and you're right on that trigger. There's no real mush, right? No real wall. You're just right on the wall. There's no take up, right? And even on that first shot, right? So we have that fully out, we've displaced. There's just a little bit of take up, and then you're right on there. So accuracy was great, transitioning from target to target. So when you're pulling, you're getting a really consistent pull every time. Even if you let it go all the way out, you're really not getting a lot of take up. So I think that really helped me with my accuracy. You can get these for anywhere from the $350 to $400 range. I know the newer ones that are coming out that are optics cut, they are, the $450 to $500 range. So it depends on what you're looking for. The mags are actually very cheap. You can pick them up anywhere. I saw as high as $25 and all the way down to like $19 a mag. So mags are easy. They're steel mags. They're pretty well made. They have a nice base plate. It shot all the ammo, including the aluminum, with no problem today. And I think you get a nice little kit, a nice little setup here. If this is something you would be interested in, I really think this would be a great firearm, and I thank all you guys out there for telling me that we should pick one up and try it. It definitely is something I like, even if she's not a huge fan. So we appreciate your time. Thanks for checking out the review, and we hope to see you guys again. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
Comment below. We want to hear from you. Get more content from Family Firearm Reviews by joining our Patreon and checking out the links